Hello and welcome to our flip video lesson, Writing It Down, lesson 3.05. So you do not have any readings in your Human Odyssey book for today. You have your student guide workbook pages 63 to 65. Your OMS assignment, just complete your work in there, and then about the topic Sumerian writing. And I know we covered this in a previous lesson, but this just kind of adds into it. So describe the development of the Sumerian system of writing and identify the earliest known system of writing. And then we also move on to here. Describe the role of scribes in Sumerian society, identify the earliest known system of writing, and list examples of advantages of having a writing system. So introduction, writing it down. Writing is so much a part of our lives that most of us take it for granted, but it was actually very difficult for people to produce a system of written communication. In fact, it took the Sumerians centuries to develop one. The system they developed, called cuneiform, was so complex that very few people could read and write it. Literacy in Sumer, therefore, was confined to just one social class, a special group known as scribes. Sumerian writing. The Sumerians developed the first form of writing. As Sumerian towns grew into cities, the people needed a way to keep track of business transactions, ownership rights, and government records. Around 3300 BC, the Sumerians began to use picture symbols marked into clay tablets to keep their records. Writing example of Sumerian cuneiform marked on clay tablets. Writing was inscribed on clay tablets. Scribes would take a stylus, a stick made from a reed, and press the lines and symbols into soft, moist clay. Once they were done, they could let the clay harden and they had a permanent record. Cuneiform was the initial writing of Sumerians and utilized simple pictures or pictograms. For example, a drawing of a person's head meant the word head. Over time, the writing of Sumerians further developed to include sounds and meanings. Scribes would use the stylus to make wedge-shaped marks in the clay. This type of writing is called cuneiform writing, which means wedge-shaped. And that was taken from a Duxter's website, which is a great website if you're ever looking for additional information. So turn to page 65 in your student guide. And as I've said before, if you need to, if this video is going too fast for you, you can always put it on pause. So the scribes challenge, you are to match the challenges with the solutions to show how the Sumerians developed a system of writing. So they needed something to write with, so they invented pens made of sharp reeds. So you can go ahead and complete that challenge. See if you can match up what the challenge was and then what the solution was that they were able to develop. You can pause this video, or you maybe have already done it while you're watching the video. So they needed something to write with. Schooling was expensive because it took years for someone to learn to write. They needed to keep track of numbers and amounts. People who kept records had to know the system very well. They needed to translate spoken words into written words. So therefore they needed something to write on. People who couldn't write needed to sign documents. And so they needed record of other kinds of information besides numbers. Remember, you can always pause this if it's going too quickly for you. Recorders were the only people who learned to write, and therefore they had to write about everything. So they discovered that pictures and objects sometimes have more than one meaning. The writing system was complicated and difficult to learn. And so now if you go back to page 65, you can look to see if your answers were correct. So like I said, you could do that as we were doing this video. You can go back through the slides. You can always look at class notes posted in the OMS. And here are the answers as well. So as I said, there's no reading for today's lesson. So you can catch up on any reading that you may have, or you can even read ahead if you would like. Important vocabulary words to understand: complicated is consisting of many interconnecting parts or elements, intricate. Orderly is organized, neatly, and methodically arranged. Cuneiform is the earliest known system of writing. And advantages, a condition or circumstance that puts one in a favorable or superior position. Okay, and now we come to our quote section. A word after a word after a word is power. And that was said by Margaret Atwood. Thank you so much for joining me today. As always, stay positive, stay fighting, stay brave, stay ambitious, stay focused, and stay strong. Have an amazing day.